Let us discuss some PYQs related to science and technology. First question is, membrane bioreactors are often discussed in the context of assisted reproductive technologies, drug delivery nanotechnologies, vaccine production technologies, and wastewater treatment technologies. So what is this membrane bioreactor? So within a bioreactor, you know that the disintegration of organic matter by bacteria happens, and then there is a filtration system as well. But when it comes to membrane bioreactor, both of them happen in the same place. So the area that is needed for this reaction is very less. So ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది అంటే the organic matter is acted upon by the bacteria, and then the membrane filter comes into the picture. ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుందంటే the pollution, the pollutants, the bacteria, and also the unwanted solid waste materials are collected at the membrane, and only the clean water passes through the membrane. This water is then used for agriculture purposes. Now let us look at the options. Assisted reproductive technologies అంటే technologies such as the IVF, wherein the reproduction of humans is assisted at the lab level. So look at that, the technology here is not directly related to the membrane bioreactors. So obviously this is a wrong option. Second comes the drug delivery nanotechnology. Now let us take an example. Suppose there is a person and that person is having a tumor. Nanotechnology, in the drug delivery nanotechnology, what you see is the medicine being delivered right to the site of action. So ekkadaithe there is an issue such as the tumor, the medicine will be delivered in the right amounts right to the action site instead of being delivered across the body. So that is what is the second option. So it talks about the drug delivery and it is not related to the membrane bioreactor. So we have to remove that option as well. And third comes the vaccine production technology. Now here viruses and bacteria are used for making of the vaccines. You know that. But even in this, there is a use of bioreactors in the production process. But what you have to remember is that this is for vaccine production and membrane bioreactors are not used in this. So that is why this is not related to this. So we can eliminate this safely. Now comes the last option, wastewater treatment technologies. As we discussed in the initial things itself, membrane bioreactor is exclusively for the environmental applications. So this is the right answer. Now let us look at the other question. Which of the following is synthesized in the human body that dilates blood vessel and increases blood flow? So this question is talking about the concept of vasodilation. So let us say this is a blood vessel, okay, and it has blood flowing through it. So what vasodilation means, that you know, if there is a requirement of extra blood and you need to pass more blood through the same blood vessel, how can you possibly accommodate more blood? You need to widen this. So the widening of blood vessel itself is called as vasodilation. Now this question is asking as to if there is a particular trigger within the body that is causing this vasodilation. Now let us look at the options. First is nitrogen pentoxide, N2O5. This is a very strong oxidizing agent. It has some industrial purposes, but it is not produced by body, so obviously this is the wrong option. Now comes nitrogen dioxide, NO2. You know that this is a very common pollutant. It causes lung infections and it causes breathing issues as well, and clearly it is not produced by body, so it is a wrong option. Now comes nitrous oxide, N2O, which you commonly know as, you know this as laughing gas. So it has some clinical applications, but it does not cause vasodilation and it is also not produced by body, so it is a wrong option. Now comes nitric oxide. So within the blood cell, you have inner lining, and this lining has something called as the endothelial cells. So these endothelial cells produce what is called as the nitric oxide. So what does this do? So it relaxes the smooth muscles within the blood vessels so that the blood vessel dilates and it makes more space for blood and thereby causing the vasodilation. So option A, nitric oxide, is the correct option. Now let's look at the next question. Microsatellite DNA is used in case of which of the following? Studying the evolutionary relationships among various species of fauna, stimulating stem cells to transform into diverse functional tissues, promoting clonal propagation of horticulture plants, assessing the efficacy of drugs by conducting series of drug trials in population. So what is the microsatellite DNA? This is a concept related to gene mapping. Just like a genetic barcode, the sequence of genes, the sequence of nucleotides keep repeating themselves. For example, GTCA is a particular sequence. This repeats again as GTCA and so on. So this keeps repeating in loop. And this particular sequence goes down thousands of generations. But what happens is, in thousands of generations, there is a slight chance of mutation. So scientists study this particular mutation to understand more about the evolutionary process. Now let us look at the options. First is assessing the efficacy. So this option is related to the concept of pharmacology. Now obviously, for a particular genetic sequence, the efficacy of drug is often impacted. So a particular gene sequence might tell you if the particular drug will be effective or not. But that is a subject related to pharmacology, and it is not necessarily about the microsatellite DNA, which is more of an analysis tool. Okay, so this is a wrong option. Second, promoting the clonal propagation. So this is related to the concept of cloning, which is not directly related to this particular microsatellite DNA, which is more used for the studying of evolutionary process. So this is also eliminated. And then stimulating stem cells to transform into diverse functional tissues. So here the concept is of gene programming. Here specific cells are programmed to achieve a particular outcome, but this is not related to microsatellite DNA as well. So this is also a wrong option. So finally we are left with the original concept of studying the evolutionary relationship among various species of fauna. So which is what microsatellite DNA is exactly used for. So option A is the correct option. Now the next question. In the context of vaccines manufactured to prevent COVID-19 pandemic, consider the following statements. Now, before going into the options, let us understand what the vaccine actually means. Vaccine is basically information given to your immune system. But the information is given to immune system on a vehicle or a platform. So this platform or this vehicle can vary depending on what kind of vaccine you are using. And particularly when it comes to COVID, there are mainly 3 types of such vehicles or 3 types of vaccines. One is the mRNA vaccine, where small amount of genetic material is provided so that your cells know which protein to manufacture. The second is the inactivated, wherein a killed virus is used for the vaccine. And third is the viral vector vaccine, where a weak virus is used as a vehicle for giving the particular genetic information as a vaccine. Now let's get into the options. Covaxin is an inactivated pathogen based vaccine. Yes, Covaxin made by Bharat Biotech is an inactivated pathogen, so this is a right option. Next, Sputnik made by Russia. Sputnik V vaccine is manufactured using a vector based platform. Yes, it is a vector based platform. Now option 1, the Serum Institute of India produced COVID-19 vaccine named Covishield. So Covishield is a Indian brand name of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Now this here it says that it is a mRNA platform. No, this is not an mRNA platform, it's a viral vector viral platform. So this is not a correct option, so it is wrong option. So because 2 and 3 are correct, so option B will be the right option. Now the last question for today. Bio-rock technology is talked about in which of the following situations? First of all, ఈ bio-rock technology అంటే ఏంటి? ఇది ఎలక్ట్రో అక్యుములేషన్ టెక్నాలజీ గురించి మాట్లాడుతుంది. అంటే మెటల్ ప్లేట్స్ని సీ బెడ్లో ప్లేస్ చేసి వాటిలో లో ఎలక్ట్రిక్ వోల్టేజ్ని పాస్ చేయడం వల్ల డిజాల్వ్డ్ మినరల్స్ అనేటువంటివి ఈ మెటల్ ప్లేట్స్ మీదకి అక్యుములేట్ అవ్వడం స్టార్ట్ అవుతాయి అనమాట. మినరల్స్ సచ్ యాజ్ కాల్షియం అండ్ మెగ్నీషియం ఇవి ఈ మెటల్ ప్లేట్స్ మీదకి వచ్చేసి క్రిస్టలైజ్ అయిపోతాయి అనమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ బేసిక్లీ ది బయోరాక్ టెక్నాలజీ. నౌ లెట్స్ లుక్ ఎట్ ది ఆప్షన్స్. ప్రొవైడింగ్ సాల్ట్ లిక్స్ ఫర్ వైల్డ్ యానిమల్స్ ఇన్ ఫారెస్ట్ అండ్ ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ ఏరియాస్. అంటే ఎలిఫెంట్స్ అండ్ డీర్స్ లాంటి వైల్డ్ యానిమల్స్కి మినరల్ డెఫిషియన్సీ లేకుండా సోడియం అండ్ కాల్షియం సంబంధించినటువంటి సాల్ట్ లిక్స్ అనేవి వాటికి పెడతారనమాట అండ్ వాటి చాలా ఇష్టంగా తింటాయి. బట్ దిస్ ఇస్ అబౌట్ ది కన్జర్వేషన్ ఆఫ్ వైల్డ్ లైఫ్ యానిమల్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ టెరెస్ట్రియల్ యానిమల్స్. దిస్ ఇస్ నాట్ డైరెక్ట్లీ రిలేటెడ్ టు బయోరాక్ టెక్నాలజీ. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ క్లోజ్ బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అట్ ఆల్ రిలేటెడ్ టు ది biorock technology. So it is a wrong option. Now, identification of areas for exploration and extraction of shale gas. So this is more of a habitat conservation technology, but identification and exploration, extraction వీటికి సంబంధించినటువంటి టెక్నాలజీ ఇది కాదనమాట. So that is why it is a wrong option. Now, development of building materials using plant residues. Now, bio concrete అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ఉంది. దాంట్లో మనము ప్లాంట్ రెసిడ్యూస్ని యూజ్ చేసి బిల్డింగ్ మెటీరియల్స్ని చేస్తాం, బట్ it is not at all related to bio-rock technology. So this is also a wrong option. Now the correct option is restoration of damaged coral reefs, because ఈ bio-rock technology ని యూజ్ చేసి ఈ డ్యామేజ్డ్ కోరల్ రీఫ్స్ ని మనము 3 to 5x స్పీడ్ లో మనము వీటిని రీస్టోర్ చేయగలుగుతాం అనమాట. సో ఆప్షన్ ఏ ఇస్ ది కరెక్ట్ ఆప్షన్.